opportunity to bring down their competitors, even if it meant bringing down the country, Baba chose the stability of Kenya. For Agwambo, the specter of a failed state was too grave to contemplate. He understood that leadership is not about personal pride, but about preserving the republic, not about victory in politics, but about preserving the stability of the nation we love, Kenya. Second, fellow citizens, Raila's love for Kenya was deep, steadfast, and unconditional. He once told us that if he were to die and God asked him where he would wish to be born again, he would say without hesitation, "Take me back to Kenya." Such was the depth of his devotion to our beloved nation. He knew that Kenya, like all nations, was not perfect, that nation building was work in progress, that it is only renewed with every generation. He understood that we are an imperfect people, always striving towards a more perfect union. Yet even in our flaws, he saw magic and beauty. In our struggles, he discerned promise, and in our contradictions, he could pick out hope and unity. To Raila, there was no place on earth more worthy of devotion, no people more deserving of faith, and no dream more noble than the Kenyan dream. Thirdly, Baba's life was an example of always choosing and closing ranks for the common good. When our nation faced turbulence last year, for example, I reached out across the political divide. Baba was the first to come to the table to help steady the ship of state, leading to the formation of the broad-based government that has since stabilized our economy and our nation. That is what heroes do. When the stakes are high, they rise above partisanship and put the country first. Even during the last election campaigns, when faith placed us once again on opposite sides of the political divide, Baba spoke words that will echo through generations. He said, and I quote, "I have been to the mountaintop. I have seen the glory land. I may not get there with you, but together we will get there." End of quote. In those words lay the essence of his leadership: selfless, visionary, and anchored in faith that Kenya's destiny transcends any individual. He reminded us that collaboration, even with rivals, is not an act of political convenience, but a sacred pact with posterity. For Baba, it was never about him becoming president. It was about Kenya having a good president, and Kenya moving from a third world status to a first world status in a short time as possible, so that we, as a people and as a nation, can realize our true potential. The glory land that he saw at the mountaintop is the better, the greater, and the more perfect union for which we must now, on this Mashujaa day, dedicate ourselves anew. Fourth, our former Prime Minister was a foremost preacher of national unity. He tirelessly reminded leaders and citizens alike that our overarching identity is not defined by tribe, region, or creed. but by the sacred bond of being Kenyan. He often urged us to think Kenya first, to let the idea of one nation under one flag rise above all else. And he lived by that creed. When in 2002, he stood before the nation and declared Kibaki Tosha, it was not because he was unaware of where President Kibaki came from. It was because he saw, beyond geography and ethnicity, he saw Kenya as one united nation under God. Fellow countrymen and women, it would therefore be a desecration of his legacy if we were to allow ourselves to be divided by sectarian interests, by the peddlers of hate, or by the see nothing good about Kenya battalion. The fifth lesson from Baba's life is one of unshakable faith in the future. He was a die-in-the-wool eternal optimist. Through every trial, setback, and triumph, the Right Honorable Raila believed that Kenya's best days were still ahead. He endured prison, persecution, and political defeat, yet never surrendered to bitterness or gave in to hopelessness. His optimism wasn't anchored on naivety. It was courage in motion. His life was a constant reminder that no setback is final, no dream too distant, and no obstacle insurmountable for a people determined and are united by purpose. At this juncture, fellow patriots, allow me to share reflections on the future of our great country, drawn from my intimate and wide-ranging conversations with the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga in the final months of his remarkable journey, as well as with leaders from across the political divide. In our engagements, Baba often spoke with immense passion and at times frustration about the pace of our national progress. He would often wonder why nations like South Korea, Singapore, or Malaysia, which were once at par with Kenya just a few decades ago, had leapt forward to first world status while we still grappled with the basics. In those moments of honesty and deep introspection, we came to a shared conclusion that the true driver of national